Kioria.
Thanks very much, Regina. Indeed, our conversation tonight is on the EALA elections that happen tomorrow in both precincts in the precincts of Parliament. And joined in studio is the Member of Parliament for Kipipiri. She is the co-chair of the Joint Committee on the Election of Members to EALA and an immediate former Member of Parliament, EALA. Mheshimiwa, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Let's begin with the heat that, the EALA elections have generated in the country. This is the first we've seen such heat emanating from the EALA elections. Probably you could start with telling us, because you've served there, what is the importance of the EALA Parliament?
Thank you, and good evening, our viewers. My name is Wanjiku Muhia, MP Kipipiri, currently a co-chair of the Joint Select Committee of EALA elections. But I am also lucky to have been elected, nominated, and appointed as the Regional Integration Committee Chair. So this matter is squarely within my docket, considering I'm an immediate former member of EALA. EALA is really an important organ of the community, established at our treaty, and this is Article 9, and EALA is the legislative arm of the community. Like many other parliaments, it does representation, so it represents the citizens of East Africa, just like we do at our own constituency. It does oversight. In oversight, we have about 10 institutions within the community, and there is some audit and how the community is handling the finances and other implementation of the protocols. So EALA does the oversight role, and it also does legislation. So it is a critical organ of the community, considering this community was established on 4 pillars. The basic one being custom union, that is the one-stop border post and passport and the like. The second one being the common market, and the common market means the free movement of goods, free movement of people, and free movement of services. That is why today we have cross-border trade. You see trucks coming from Namanga to Busia, Holili, and all other borders. And the third pillar where we are currently is about the monetary union. And may I mention that by 2024, we are supposed to have a common currency, an East African shilling, like the US dollar. And the fourth pillar, that's why EALA is so critical and so important organ, is the political federation. In the future of this community, we expect to have one president who will be the president of the whole region, not currently the 6 partner state or the 7, because DRC Congo has come, but we have a hope that even other countries will join. Maybe Ethiopia will join. Who knows? Somalia has already been applying, though it is not yet within our community. But we expect to have a political federation. Actually, that is the ultimate goal of establishing this community.
Right.
With that in mind, then EALA is as important as the National Assembly or the Senate here in Kenya.
We'll talk about the politics of it. But there's obviously the perception out there of EALA. Is it a hub of political rejects, in the sense that if the voters in Kenya or in the other member countries reject you in the elections, then the other place where you can fall is EALA?
May I say it is not really a retiree or a political reject house, but very important. But over time, our citizens, particularly in Kenya, have not been so much aware of EALA. We need a lot of civic education, in my view, so that we can continue educating the people. Because when you look at the public, because I was handling that process, we had 348 applicants. This speaks volumes in terms of interest from our country. So many people are interested to join EALA. But I think, in my view, very few know what is EALA. People have the imagination that this is an abroad job, because obviously when you cross Namanga, you are already in an international transit. And many think because it is a diplomatic job, is a good job. We have so many businessmen applying this job without even a basic political background, because people think, oh, I'm a serious business and maybe I have business in Tanzania. May I disappoint them and tell them, no, that is not the aim, that is not the objective. EALA is a parliament like what we have here in Kenya. So the public is not yet aware, but the competition and the heat that you see today is because quite a number are already aware of this institution. But we have many institutions and our members do not even bother to apply. We have Lake Victoria Basin in Kisumu, we have Kasoa in Entebbe, we have Inter-University in Kampala. In fact, we have East African Development Bank also in Kampala. We have Kiswahili Commission in Zanzibar. We have Competition Authority. We have Istiko in Burundi, Bujumbura. So we have quite a number of institutions, but our citizens, particularly in Kenya, I may not speak of other public partner states, seem not to be much aware of other institutions. This being a political organ, like our National Assembly and Senate and the county assemblies, of course, it can attract these kind of numbers.
Let's talk about tomorrow. Today you were at State House for the Kenya Kwanza Parliamentary Group meeting. You settled on Hassan Omar, Fred Muteti, Zipporah Kering, David Sankok and Falhada Dikau. On the side of Azimio, at least from where we sit as media, the front runners are Winnie Odinga, Kenneth Kalonzo, there is Kanini Kega of Jubilee, and I think ODM is entitled to one more position, which I think is being gone for by the likes of Justice Kizito, the former Shinyalu Member of Parliament, and another. But I'm on Kenya Kwanza, because there are several other candidates that have been gazetted as candidates in this election. What happens tomorrow? Because those are gazetted, and then you identified 5 as Kenya Kwanza.
Okay, very well, but it is a technical question because I'm the co-chair, and as a co-chair, I am more of an observer than leading in this direction or in this direction. But either way, the parties and political parties are allowed to lobby, to identify their candidates, and the rules do give slots in accordance to the membership each party has. So in this calculation, we had found that Azimio Coalition deserved 4 slots, and our coalition, that is Kenya Kwanza, deserved 5. Again, our rules indicate that because it is not a nomination, it's an election, we multiply those numbers with 3 so that we have the 15 numbers like we had and 12 numbers like we have in Azimio, and any other candidate as independent, so that you give members, the voters from the National Assembly and Senate, is a bicameral voting, the chances to get the best out of 3 per slot, so the best 5 out of 15. Just to answer your question, every party is bound to make a party position. As a loyalist of the party, I would support that. But remember, this is an election. It is also not limited to Kenya Kwanza only, so any result can come.
It is important you mention about independence, because I'm sitting here wondering, when Kenya Kwanza has already taken a position on the 5 slots they are entitled to, and then Azimio obviously will take a position before tomorrow on the 4 positions they are entitled to, what is the possibility of an independent making it through to EALA?
It is not difficult. It is possible. Actually, every partner state, currently the Republic of Uganda, have 2 independent candidates in the just concluded election. But in our case in Kenya, when we make the advert, we leave it open as per the rules. But our independent candidates, particularly this year, because I have participated actively as a co-chair, I realized they did not read the advert very well, because the advert was clear that for you to apply as a member of EALA, you must also qualify to be a member of parliament. That means the applicants ought to have gone to our constitution, Article 99, and read what are the qualification of a member of parliament. And this is where, if you are an independent candidate, you are required to bring 1,000 signatures. If that is for constituency, and for county, 2,000 signatures. So by the closure of this advertisement, that was on 2nd, the applications were there. In fact, we had 42 independent applicants. And out of 42, when the presiding officers, who are the clerks of the joint houses, Senate and the National Assembly, were receiving the application, because we have a day for nomination, which was 9th in this case, the coalition leaders brought their 15. because when we received the 349 applications, they are sorted. There are those members, you know, Kenyans are interesting, who will apply 4 times. Even I was reading, and members were laughing in Parliament, that even one applicant said he was looking for a job of a driver in EALA. His application was also there. So they sorted, and when they sorted, they gave to House leadership. Azimio, your slots, and your applications, and Kenya Kwanza, your applications, and independent remained, so that the committee could have handled. So in this case, the Azimio went, and we gave them the instruction, you shall bring 12 candidates or nominees. And the other, my coalition, Kenya Kwanza, 15. So they brought us 15 and 12. That is 27. From 42, many of the applicants did not have the signatures. Some were literally sitting there on the stairs and signing with one pen. Another one was just doing like this. I think they didn't take this election so seriously that you are not allowed to maneuver or bring jokes in this. So out of 42, only one candidate who qualified on face value. On face value, I mean he had 1,000 signatures. But it is our work through the presiding officer to take the signatures and the application of this candidate to the IEBC, who is the authorized entity to confirm if this candidate qualified to be dependent. So in this case, the application were taken to IBC to verify. And when they verified, the threshold was not met. Again, to the political party officer, the registrar of political party confirmed that our candidate by the name Duncan was not a member of any party. He was okay, he was independent, so there he passed. But when the papers were taken to IBC, the IBC wrote a letter back to us that this candidate cannot qualify. So in that case, the independent candidate story died like that. So I say in future they should apply in accordance to our constitution, Article 99.
And I was there in Parliament yesterday, and I saw the kind of campaigns that are ongoing in the National Assembly, and the senators, members seek to lobby the members of Parliament to vote for them. But let's talk about today's meeting, because you had quite a lengthy meeting that started at 7 a.m. with the President. The Hustlers Fund, because it's a hot topic right now, and the number of monies being given to individuals despite the campaign pledges by the President. And you will remember, most of the critics say 500 shillings as a minimum. Mheshimiwa?
Let me say that anytime we have a PG, we always take stock of where we are, what are Kenyans saying, and where are we going to. So the main agenda today was Hustlers Fund, because as a media personnel, you also know that this is a heated issue, and as such we needed to have some information, because the regulations are already ready from a certain committee, but you know the law in Kenya, they must come through Parliament, so soon they shall be coming either to EALA or delegated legislation. So the fund, Hustlers Fund, to our Kenyans, it's there. It shall be launched on 30th of November. That is very few days, and that is good news. This fund will be given to 3 groups. The first group will be individuals like myself and yourself, and you can apply. And the second,
so maximum of 50,000.
I will give you those. And the other is groups, the chamas, the wamama, even wazee this time. You know, men used to say the government is marginalizing them. And as I was campaigning, I told them the hustler will also be there for men. And the other ones will be the small enterprise groups. So this hustler fund, because I took some notes, though I'm trying to download also from my memory, the hustler fund will be applied without any hustler committee. That, you know, as members of Parliament, you could really have loved to have a hustler committee. It will be through your phone. It will be like Tala, M-Pesa, and the like. So that means the process will be easy, and every borrower can, of course, like this idea of online borrowing, because you don't waste time, you have no to and fro. Also, the good thing with the hustler fund, it doesn't have the collateral, unlike how we ask the title deed, the vehicle, and all that. This hustler fund, you're asking of the amount. We are starting with the 500, and citizens shouldn't find it funny because I'm always doing fuliza of even 200. doesn't that mean that I borrow 200? So we cannot imagine that we should all go to borrow 100,000.
Yeah.
It is that's 500, and as a banker, I know there could be a need of 500. You could be Mama Boga. You go to the market, you need to have a stock in your kiosk of maybe 1,000. You find good tomatoes and you want to add 500 shillings more. But to a maximum of 50,000, yeah, that is for individuals.
Okay.
The groups will be from 50,000 to a maximum of 250, and I guess I believe the SMEs will be maybe 250 to 500. These are not static figure. In Hustler, we are always very flexible, so maybe this can be reviewed as the need be.
All right.
But most importantly is that no collateral, no committee, no movement. It's through your phone, right in your house, right in your kiosk, right here on studio. It's a good product.
You're giving some people some ideas.
I know I'm a banker, so I'm looking forward. And you know, we have quite a number of millions of Kenyans, particularly the youths, who are currently blacklisted by CRB. Our boss has confirmed that by the end of this month, probably 2.4 million people will be out of CRB.
Yes. Absolutely.
Is that not a good thing?
It's
coming
a good
with
thing.
the Hustler Fund?
It's a good thing.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, for joining us. And of course, congratulations. You're doing a good job in terms of making awareness for the disabled children and their parents living in this country, particularly the ones living with dyslexia.
Yes.
We saw what you were doing, and congratulations for that.
Thank you. And may I ask for more time in the near future?
Yeah.
Because I think we have spoken quite fast, and these matters of regional integration, I want them to sink to Kenyans so that they can also reap benefit like our neighbors.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Of course, we will dedicate more time to talk about regional integration, because clearly, looking at even the perspective of Kenyans in terms of what EALA means, there's kind of a convoluted conversation or understanding about the role of EALA. And that's why we put a cap on Prime Edition. Regina, if you could kindly join us. I'm sure you're about to ask Mheshimiwa kama kona team ya World Cup.
We want to know which team are you supporting. We are placing our bets. Siku ni nne.
Na Manchester haichezi Mheshimiwa.
Haichezi.
Even Ruri AFC is not playing.
Haichezi.
Yeah, haichezi.
Which team will you be supporting?
For me, I'll be supporting Kipipiri FC. Which is an upcoming, so maybe for the African Cup of Nations.
Okay.
And it will be our interest as a region, by the way, for those who will make it to EALA, because we will be hosting the African Cup of Nations, and there is a probability of hosting it within the East Africa. And you know, none of our countries in the neighborhood which has 5 study. So that is our interest, but maybe a topic of another day.
All right. Absolutely. Asante
Nice.
sana. What you have not told Mheshimiwa is that Kipipiri FC can only play in Nyandarua World Cup. And then
They're not playing in the World Cup.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
we can donate for your team. Maybe you can join us. We're supporting Team Senegal.
I'll come.
You will
Slow.
join
After
us.
4 days, then I'll tell you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Time for us to put a cap on the broadcasting. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Have yourself a fantastic night. God bless.
And I am Regina Manyara. Great evening ahead.
And I'm Wanjiku Muhia. Have a great evening.
Awesome. That was nice.